welcome back to another thrown together vlog where you can always depend on me for the messy hair. I tried a few times to record this video to continue it a little bit, so we're gonna try one more time. Hopefully you can't see my boobs. Wow, that was low. But anyways, I just wanted to record on Mother's Day a little bit just to kind of document because that's what I do. I probably put text so everything wasn't super out of context. But the biggest surprise of this vlog is yes, Mittens had kittens. And it's a little nerve wracking, I have to say. She wasn't just fat. She was just fat for a while, but then towards the end, she was a little bit fatter, but not much fatter. So the story with that is that she was missing for like a day. And usually, and I say missing as in she usually came around. If you don't know the backstory, she's a stray cat and she used to hide underneath the shed and hiss at me when I tried to go near her. And she would come in the sunroom, we'd give her food, but she never let us close the door. She went into a panic, she would run around, she would, like, we were just worried she would hurt herself, so we always just kept it open. And wherever she went, and she could come back here for food, which I've talked about this on Instagram. Like, if we adopted a pet, like, that would never be the situation. I wouldn't let them run. I I don't really think that's right if you adopt a pet to or take one in. If you take it in to let it back out, I just think there's too many dangers out there, and I wouldn't do that. But she wasn't really used to anything, so it's like, well, I'll just give you food so you at least have food. And that's just what we did for the longest time. I don't know if I would say a year, but a good many months. That's what we did. And yeah, she would, kind of disappear for a few days here and there, and she disappeared for the morning, I think, one day. I don't think it was a whole day. I think it was just the morning. And then Greg said, "Oh, look who I see on the camera." And we went out to open the door to give her food, and she peeked over the window and she meowed at Greg, and then she hopped in a corner. And Greg looked and he's like, "Oh man, there's kittens." And I'm like, "Oh no. Like, what are we gonna do?" And yeah, so she had the kittens, and I think it was 2 weeks. I have to ask Greg. I don't remember exactly, but I think it was 2 weeks that she brought them in. And I could probably insert some footage here, but she brought them in one by one. The first one she let go, I think it was like at least 15 minutes, I believe, if not longer. She brought it in and she put it in that fuzzy, again, if you follow me on Instagram, I'm not like saying, I'm not trying to plug my Instagram, but I post a lot more on there than I do on here. And um, I said about it on there, a fuzzy house that I got her from Amazon. And yeah, she brought them in one by one and put them in there. And I was like, what are we gonna do? Because we have to close the door. There's bears, there's raccoons, there's foxes, so many things, possums, everything, that coyotes at times. All these animals are just popping in my head, but so many things that could come in and hurt her, or the babies especially, and we needed to close the door. So I've been talking to some local cat groups around here, and they basically said, like, try to close it. If she gets too freaked out, just let her come and go basically as she wants to. And uh yeah, but surprisingly she let us close the door, literally no problem. I was so worried. We were stressed that day. And well, I don't want to say I was super, I mean, I knew she had to stay in one way or another, but I was just stressed about like how she was going to react. But we closed it and she was fine. I'm like, "You're okay. You're okay." When I closed the door, and I was just petting her, and she was fine with it. So thankfully that was okay. And they've been in ever since, and they've been doing good. They're growing. They're playing with each other. They're attacking each other. And Mittens is very attentive. So it's been somewhat easy, but still stressful. And I try to give them, a decent amount of time during the day. They're still just in the sunroom because I don't think Mittens is even ready for the house, let alone all of them. So it's kind of best that they're just in there and it's open. They can't really get into things. I moved the chairs out today actually and covered that furnace area because I didn't want them to like crawl up into it because they were kind of going around there. So I just have a cover over it now. So it's just best that they're out there and we can control the temperature, heaters, air conditioner, so that'll be fine. But yeah, 5 freaking cats in the house right now. So it's been a lot, but like I said, we're trying to figure out a long-term plan still. So you can find out with me. I'll try to vlog more, um, something more interesting than my normal vlogs. But yeah, another thing I just wanted to quickly talk about, just this is going to be just a life update, how people do little life updates. So, big updates to kittens. That's major update. Second update isn't really an update, but it's just going to be a health update. And I've debated talking about this or not just because I feel like some people are just mean and hateful, and sometimes I just regret telling anybody anything about myself. So there's that. But it's becoming quite an issue for me, so I just thought I would talk about it. I talked about this before where I was going to a neurologist and talking about just some strange symptoms I had, and they said that their best guess is seizures. And they wanted me to start taking medication for it, and I was just hesitant to because the main, like, the things that I would call a seizure don't happen all the time. It's been happening more frequently, but it's like every couple of months, I would say, maybe. Maybe it's been every month, I don't know. But it's been more frequent than in the past. And I just want to talk about the symptoms, and I just like preface, is that what people say? Preface this by saying I am not crazy. I promise. I don't think so anyway. I don't really know. But so the symptom that I had that really freaked me out, that got me to call the neurologist for an appointment, and I've had this symptom before. I think in like 2016 it happened a lot, and in 2018 it happened a decent amount. Um and okay, so this was the episode that I had that got me to call my neurologist. So I was asleep. I was in bed, I was asleep, and I woke up probably an hour later. And Greg had the TV on in here, and he was watching a YouTube channel. It was like a video game guy. I usually know what he's talking about, even if I don't like know the topic. I know, what the conversation is. And I woke up and I was looking at the TV, and I could hear him talking, but I couldn't understand what he was saying. Like, it literally just sounded like gibberish. And this happened to me before. I remember it happened to me at a hotel. I think it was 2016 when we went to see Metallica in State College. Greg was asleep, and again, I was just laying there. I was awake. It's not a dream. I wasn't like sleeping. I wasn't dreaming this. But this happened too when I was watching TV, and it was a commercial for some like medication. And in the commercial, and I was watching TV long enough to see the commercial twice. So like I was like, that is not at all what I heard. But the first time around, I remember it was going through like the symptoms, like you might experience these side effects, whatever. It was like headache, nausea, and then it just sounded like gibberish. And I was like, what? Like this, what are they saying? So that happened to me before where I hear, like, I can hear it, but it's just not like, it just sounds like garble to me. And that's what happened that night. And I picked up my phone and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like, I opened Instagram. I'm like, I'm just gonna scroll, maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't know what to think. But I was looking at the text and it was the same way. Like nothing was making sense. Like everything just looked jumbled. And it really freaked me out, which again, that had happened before. Like when I was reading, I would be looking at something, I'd be reading, and all of a sudden, like the words just looked like they were blended together and it just didn't make any sense. And it lasts for a short period of time, like maybe a full minute, maybe 2 minutes, um, that happened. And with that episode, I put my phone down, I got up and I just went to the bathroom, like, okay, maybe maybe I can walk it off. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. So I went to the bathroom, came back, and then I could hear things normal again. Like it all made sense to me again. But then I felt like I was gonna pass out like a lot. Like I didn't pass out, but I felt just kind of like in and out. If that makes any sense, like on the verge of being unconscious. And then I would come back and feel okay, and then it would hit me again. And so that happened, and while I don't know if it was while that was happening, towards the end of that happening, then I started shaking a bunch and like full on like shaking. Like I joked that it was like a vibrating bed because I was shaking the bed that much. And even the next day, like my body was sore. Like it ached just from shaking so bad. And it really was scary. That was the first time that it happened like that bad. And so I called my neurologist and they did an EEG at the hospital, and they said that there wasn't seizure activity, but it wasn't like completely normal either. And there was some activity, I guess, where seizures happen, like a little bit of activity. So I had a 72-hour at home EEG where I had to wear this thing on my head, and there was like cameras and a laptop, and like somebody called me to like check in every once in a while. It was a pain in the butt. But I was like, well, if it would give some answers, like whatever, as long as Greg was okay with it, you know. So did that and everything was fine, but I wasn't having any symptoms then. That's the only thing, and that's what's tricky about this is because I don't necessarily feel bad every day to that extent, especially. So I don't know, it just didn't show anything, but I guess with what I described and that like I don't know, just with the symptoms I was describing, and I guess the first EEG that did show a little bit of abnormal stuff. The neurologist, I've been seeing the physician's assistant there, and he's like, you know, this could be seizures, and that's just kind of their best guess right now. And they wanted me to start medication, but I was hesitant, and I'm still a bit hesitant just because it doesn't happen all the time. You know, if it was happening every day, then I would think more seriously about it. But I just don't know. But he's like, the thing is, if it is seizures, like with this type, he's like, if you don't take something, like it could get worse over time. He's like, not all seizures are, you know, the scary things that you see on TV where you're violently shaking and stuff like that. He said there are some where you don't even know you're having them and you just kind of like have a blank stare for a few seconds, or you know, you kind of snap in and snap out, and you could have like a bunch of them during the day and you don't even realize it really. But he said the thing is with this type, I guess from what I understand from what he said, is that if you don't do anything about it, that it can turn into the big scary ones. That's how he worded it. So I don't know. And the thing is, like, I don't have those major episodes all the time, but I have a lot of times lately, even today being one of those times where I just don't feel like all there, if that makes sense. And I think I'm just trying to figure out what is POTS and what is seizure symptoms. That's my thing. I went to the cardiologist yesterday. I kind of explained all this to him. Like, my big thing is like, I just feel just like disconnected a lot of times, is the only way I could describe it. Just kind of like a shell. That's what kind of the neurologist explained to me. Like that's what it feels like. I'm like, yeah, like I'm not confused. Like I know what's going on, but I just don't feel like it sometimes feels dreamlike to me, I guess. And I just feel so like weak and like tingly sometimes. And I don't know if it's just POTS, like pre-syncope kind of stuff, like almost gonna pass out, because that kind of has the same feeling at times at like what I'm experiencing lately. So I don't, that's my current situation. I'm trying to figure out, maybe I'm just in a POTS flare. That's what I'm hoping. I don't know if I'm just in denial about it possibly being seizures because I don't want it to be another thing, and I don't want to be on medication for something all the time if I don't really need it. But I don't know. It just gets scary at times and frustrating when I'm not feeling good. And I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm going backwards a little bit health wise, where, you know, years ago when I was first diagnosed with POTS, I felt like I was always pushing and I was doing stuff despite not feeling good. Like I would do things here and there. A lot of times I was just at home, but the things that I did do, I felt like crap doing it and I was exhausted afterwards. And that's kind of how I've been feeling lately. And it sucks because, like, I always go back. I mean, I'm sure 2019 was a great year for everybody before everything kind of changed with the world. But 2019 was my year. I felt so good. You know, if you know me at all, I probably talked about, the cross country road trip that we took, and that seemed impossible. Even 2018, that would have seemed impossible to me, kind of because of how I'm feeling now. And I just like it, that was just so good. We were traveling so much. We were going to so many concerts, so many shows, and just everywhere for so many different things. And then, everything kind of stopped in 2020, but I was still feeling good for the most part. And I was still like exercising a ton and was really active at home and everything else. But like how I feel lately is like before 2019. Like I feel like I'm just kind of crashing a bit and I'm just trying to figure out what is causing what. And I saw my cardiologist yesterday. I don't know if I said that already in here. I forget. But I saw him yesterday and ugh, I don't know. It felt kind of like a wasted trip. He is going to do an echo and a 7-day heart monitor, but when I was talking to him about stuff, he's like, like that's really weird. Like, I don't know. Like, like the hearing the gibberish stuff, he's like, I don't know what they think that could be, which that is a seizure type of thing. Like I've read about that, and like the doctor said like that, could be that. So that could be that, but he said like with POTS, like sometimes when people pass out, like when they're coming to again, they'll like shake and like twitch and stuff like that. And like just like walking around the house, I get shaky and stuff too when I'm like trying to do things sometimes. And he said, well, that could be low blood pressure. And like his thing was like, if I start feeling that way, to just drink more water. And that seems like a very, I don't know, like with how bad I feel, just for somebody to say, drink more water. It was just like, mm. And I felt so crappy before he went there too. That's another thing. And he gave me these papers, like exercises to do, which I did on here. Kind of ironically that I say, 2018. I think maybe 2018 was the year that I was doing that, when I was using like the oh, that thing downstairs that we have is called like a rower, whatever else, like a Pilates machine. I don't know what it is exactly, but I was using that just to start with the basics. If you remember, probably not. I don't expect you to remember, whoever you are, but this is for me, so I'm expecting myself to remember, which I do. Does that make any sense? No. But I was using that a lot, and it was a program that was specifically for POTS, and he told me about this, like, that astronauts with NASA use it when they come back because like the gravity messes with them and their bodies have a hard time adjusting, so they have to start with these exercises. But he asked me like, do you exercise? And I'm like, well, I haven't been doing as much as I normally do. Like I would be, dancing and doing intense stuff. Like, you guys know I love my Turbo Fire and everything else, Turbo Jam, and I haven't been able to do that for a long time. And I would do it all the time. Like 2019, like literally every single day, an hour of Turbo Fire. and I felt great. But yeah, so I told him I haven't been able to do that kind of stuff, but I've been taking walks with my mom and with my husband. And he's like, okay. And then he gave me the pamphlet of the stuff, and it's like, if you go by the exercises, it's like you can't do anything upright for the first like 2 months, and like the fifth month you can start doing elliptical and treadmill. And it's like I'm not good, but I'm not that bad. And, he asked if there was anything that sets it off. And I was like, well, I know when I have a busy day, like sometimes that'll do it. And he's like, sleep deprivation, and like nodded. And I'm like, well, no. And he's like, well, that can do it, but I'm not sleep deprived. And that's the thing. Like, I feel like sometimes doctors just kind of like try to tell you things that you're not experiencing as a reason that you're feeling that way. And it doesn't help, especially the fact that he said, just try drinking water and see if it helps. Like, it seems like it's the most basic thing. And I know that that's not my problem. And I got in the car afterwards and I told Greg, and yeah, I don't know. I cried a little bit because it's just like you feel so lousy, and then that's what you get. And Greg even said, which made me a little bit emotional. Makes me a little emotional now thinking about it, but Greg was like, if only doctors knew like sometimes what it takes for you to get there, let alone like whatever you got to talk to them about. Like maybe they would be more helpful, or maybe they would like listen to you more, try to come up with something else. But yeah, so that's how that went. Did not expect to cry in this video. Oh my goodness. But it's just been stressful lately. It sucks when you don't feel good and you have been doing good for a while. Like that's what I told him. Like I was feeling good for, I mean, obviously I always had flares and bad days or whatever, but I was doing consistently pretty good, and I got my license and all this stuff, and I don't feel good enough to drive lately, or, you know, it just seems like things are going backwards a bit, but I don't know. Hopefully it's just a bad time. That's what I'm thinking. It always seems like the spring really messes with me. Like I do better in the summer and early fall, but winter and spring are always a bit rough. So I'm hoping it's just that, and that I improve. So, and also just try to take advantage of the good days. But that's where I am health wise. So that's an update, I guess. But another thing that's so stressful is like I have so much stuff that I want to do. Like the basement is still torn apart. And, now there's cats. And, so much other life stuff goes on, whether or not you feel good enough to deal with it. And I'm trying to keep up with work, which has been hard, and that's just part-time, and then house stuff, so it's just like a lot. But oi, you didn't click on this video to see me cry. You clicked on it to see cats, which I will show more cats. But another, let's just change the topic. Let's just get out of this. um so a good thing we're doing tonight is, if I feel good enough, that is, we're going to be going to Vegan Treats to pick up some kind of cake or cakes, little cakes, whatever, because Greg's parents are coming this weekend, which is another thing that I'm happy about, but it's also a little stressful. I don't feel good, and I'm going to try to cook stuff, which, Greg's like, don't do anything. We could just order food, and they would say the same, but I always try to make it nice and like, homey and welcoming. Maybe I shouldn't have vlogged. Maybe I should have waited. No, whatever. It is what it is. This is real life. It's real freaking life. But yes, we're going to Vegan Treats. Gonna get some good stuff. That's exciting. And then I just need to get my butt in some kind of a gear to clean and to get this house a little organized so that it doesn't look like a disaster when they come. But again, they'd be understanding. I know they know my health issues, everything else, but I'm still going to try my best to, put on the facade that we have it all together, even though we don't. You guys get to know, you people get to know the real deal. But Yeah. We're gonna come back. We're gonna come back when we're at Vegan Treats, and I will show you what we get. Okay, so it's Thursday now, and I think the last thing I recorded was in bed. I was in bed last week, maybe last Thursday actually. Greg's here too. He might chime in every once in a while. But I was having a really rough day. I don't think I told Greg about this, but I think I told you about this. I cried a little bit, which I don't know if that's gonna make the video or not, but it probably will, because I was just talking about like health update and just not feeling good, and Greg's parents were coming to visit, and I was just a little nervous how all that was going to go, and I said the next thing I would show you is us going to get the cake. So no, that was Thursday. It was actually a week ago. So my vlogs are just turning into little sit-downs. I forget what what Greg called them. So it's basically just me talking about what happened, because I don't really vlog in the moment. But we never made it for the cake because I wasn't feeling good. Yeah, because it was that Thursday we were gonna go. That is when I recorded last. So it's gonna be like a late Mother's Day for mom / his mom, and we could all like have a nice piece of cake. Yeah, Greg keeps saying your mom jokes to me, and I'm like, I am not your friend. Like, you don't say your mom.
Not my friend.
I'm like, what is this?
Not my best friend.
Well, I'm your friend, but not your mama joke friend. Kind of friend. But anyway, didn't make it for that, but we're thinking of doing it this weekend instead. Unfortunately, Greg's mom won't be able to have a piece, but mom can have a piece. My mama can have a piece. But yeah, the weekend itself, well, first of all, today is the first day probably in, I would say, at least a full week, if not more, that I'm feeling good. Like, nothing wrong really today. Like, I woke up a little dizzy because I had like a vertigo, like migraine thing last night, which was like really bad. But today I woke up feeling pretty dang good. No weird feeling like I talked about, like just feeling like out of it. Like, I feel totally with it, and it's just so great. Like, I went to the store with my mom. Like, we went to Lowe's because she needed to get something there. Oh, paint. And they're looking at like the flowers and stuff like that. And I'm like, it feels so good, like as like minimal as it sounds, to just walk around Lowe's and just like feel good enough to do it, and like feel like completely with it, and just whatever. But I feel like other people that have stuff going on might understand that. But yeah, so today was really good. The weekend was good too. I mean, it was fun, but I wasn't feeling great for, well, probably like half of it. I think Sunday I was feeling a bit better because we did go for a walk, but Greg said that we did everything that he wanted to do, so, which is order pizza.
I wasn't very ambitious. It was,
No, just little things.
Yeah, the food and like
listening to records.
Yeah, it'd be fun to watch something. My dad brought something to watch, which was fine.
Well, well, we watched a movie called, I don't know if it's Cat's Eyes or Cat's Eye, something like that. Stephen King. I posted about this on Instagram, so I'm sorry if you happen to see this, Mike. Let's do this. Because I wasn't a big fan, which technically, if he sees this, I'm not lying, because I either said it was interesting or it was weird. I said it was weird.
You weren't super excited about it. I think it was.
No. And I felt kind of bad because, like, that was Saturday night, and I wasn't feeling good then. Like, because what did we do that day? Mom and Annie came over.
Mm-hmm.
So that was nice.
Yeah, because I feel like you weren't really feeling great to begin with that day.
Yeah.
I mean,
And they didn't
Well,
see
you
each
made the
other
mac
for a long
and cheese
time.
for lunch. Look, I ran to the store, got stuff.
Yeah, I made mac and cheese for lunch. And a Greek salad. Well, a non-Greek Greek salad. Because it was supposed to be Greek because I was going to put feta in it. But then I checked the fridge and I didn't have feta. It turned out it was mozzarella. So I just put Havarti in it and then Italian dressing. And I'm like, is there any Greek in your family that they're going to be offended by this? But his mom liked it. So yeah, well, Friday night when they came, we'll start at the beginning. I cooked like a lot of food. And everybody's always telling me not to. But I
We should have thrown the bread out.
I did.
Oh.
Yeah, I made homemade bread even. So I try to, especially when somebody's coming like the first night. If you're coming for a weekend, like I like to have like a cooked meal for people. Like I don't want to be like scrambling to order something or whatever. Like I want it to be like a nice, like here's a warm meal after your journey. I just think that sounds nice. So we did that Friday. Just kind of hung out and talked after that. And then Saturday, yeah, Mom and Nanny came over after lunch. I cooked lunch. They came over, which was nice.
Lunch.
Yeah, because like I said, they didn't see each other like since 2019, maybe 2018, something like that.
Yeah, I was thinking 18.
So Greg's mom especially always asks about them. So decided to come over finally, and that was kind of nice. I mean, I think mom knows this just because I wasn't feeling good that I could like just chill, or like if I want to like, because I did go lay down a few times like during that, and I feel better doing that when they're like being entertained by somebody other than like just Greg, because I feel like I need to be here too. You know what?
You can entertain.
You can entertain, yeah, but it was nice that I felt more at ease to go take a break. So. Yeah, we did that, and then they left. We ordered some local Italian food from a local Italian place, which is always good. And yeah, then we watched the movie, and I wasn't feeling good pretty much after dinner. And then I remember just like sitting on the couch, just feeling so out of it, and it was raining, and I was like looking out the window, and the movie was just kind of like ugh. Again, no offense if anybody sees this, but I don't like Stephen King movies, and it was really weird because like it made somewhat sense all the way up till the end, and then the end it was just this weird creature. I don't even know what it was, but it's this weird creature living in the wall that just comes out with like a little knife, and it's like, what the heck is happening? But his dad loves, like, he was raving about it. He's like, you're never disappointed with Stephen King, and it's just like, I feel like I'm always disappointed with Stephen King. And also, I remember hearing that Stephen King hated on Twilight, so that's like, it's a strike in my book.
Yeah, I feel like I've been more overall disappointed with Stephen King things than things I've actually liked. Like, there's a couple of things I like. I think 1408 was pretty good.
Well, yeah, 1408, but I feel like there's always a weird thing that doesn't make sense. Like, even 1408, like, I think it's, like, creepy, but then I think the ending was kind of, like, strange. Like, it was just kind of, or disappointing anay. Like, it's not like a big thing that's together. Let me see. Cat's Eyes.
Well, like, what should I call it? The Shining. Like, that's a classic. Like, that's a great movie. Like, you can't deny that.
I don't remember much about The Shining.
God, we gotta watch that. It's so good.
Okay, here, let me show you the picture. I looked this up. I just looked up monster. Apparently it's a wall troll. That's what it's called. So you have all these, this whole movie is like conflict between humans and like different things between them. And then at the end of the movie, this thing just pops up. It's like, what? Like, how ridiculous. It's just, ugh. And I mean, I liked, and I mean.
It was Stephen King, too. I like the first one.
Yeah, the first, I don't even remember the first. The second one was a little weird.
Yeah.
And like homophobic, if I remember right. So I didn't like
that.
Yeah. But yeah, so watch that, but that's where I felt kind of bad because I got up like right after, because everyone was just kind of quiet. Well, your dad fell asleep, right? I think you and your mom were awake.
Yeah.
But your dad fell asleep, and I was just kind of like, I wanted to lay down probably a half hour because it was in sections. Was it 3 different sections, I think? And I felt like if I didn't watch it then, they'd be like, well, you have to finish it tomorrow. So I'm like, I just need to finish it now. And I texted Greg, like, probably a half hour before. I'm like, how much of this is left? Because I forgot it was, like, 3 parts. And then he didn't. Like, I do the thing with him, too. Like I'm doing right now. Like, I look at you in the hopes that you actually look at me and, like, feel me looking at you. But that never happens.
I think I was falling asleep.
Oh.
Like, I definitely dozed, especially on like the last thing.
Yeah.
Because the first one we started before dinner. So that's the thing, we didn't watch it all in one shot. Like, we watched like half of the first one, then we had dinner, and then we watched the rest.
It felt so long.
So it was only really like an hour.
Hmm.
You ever see Pet Sematary?
I think I started watching part of that the one time, and like it had some kind of animals dying, and I'm like, no, not
No,
doing
it's
that.
Pet Cemetery, so I would expect there to be animals dying.
But no, I felt bad because like nobody was really saying anything after the movie. I think either I don't know if he fell asleep and you were kind of half in, half out because nobody really said anything to each other. And
wow, that was the movie.
here's the thing too. Here's something weird about me when it comes to like health issues. Like I hate, and I explained this to Greg's mom on Sunday when we were walking. And Greg's mom's so like good to talk to about health stuff. Like she's very understanding. Like even at the beginning of the weekend, she's like, if you have to go lay down or anything like that, like, you know, feel free to do it or whatever. I just said like, you know, I always hesitate because she's like, you know, you seem to have a good grip on, you know, not feeling good and you know what you need to do when you don't feel good. And I said, yeah, and I think that's true, but I feel like just because I know what I need to do, it doesn't mean I always do it. And I used the night before with the movie as an example. Like I knew I needed to like lay down because even in here, like I have my feet up, but it's not like laying down in bed, and it's just more comfortable and I just feel better when I'm laying like flat. And yeah, I knew I needed to do that for a while, and it was like 8:30, I think that's when I went in. It was kind of early, and I was like, you know, I hate to do it, and here's what made me feel better too, because I didn't want to say it here. Again, maybe this is just weird, or just me being like strange about things and like telling people stuff, but I went to the bathroom, and I went to the bathroom and I came out and I'm like, I'm gonna lay down for a little bit, I'll be back. And I felt more comfortable saying it down the hallway, just being like, hey, I'm just gonna lay down for a minute, instead of like saying it and then getting up. Like, I don't know if that makes any sense, but I feel better just like a quick yell from down the hall, like, I'll be back. If I knew I wasn't gonna be back, and Greg knew I wasn't gonna be back.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking, well, it's like, you know, late by your standards anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They left early that night, though, so I don't even know what time it was when you walked off.
Yeah, because I woke up at like 9.
They left at 9:30.
Yeah, I woke up at 9:30 and everything was quiet. And then I like checked the camera to see if they were out with the cats, and they weren't. And then I looked at the driveway camera and they were pulling out because I wanted to see if the car was still there. With that being said, going to sleep early, like, it really helped me, I think, feel better the next day, because Friday I had another one of those weird like episodes where I was shaking a bunch. That was when they first came here. But then Saturday I'm like, I just need to sleep and try to like get some kind of restful rest. And then Sunday I woke up and I did feel better. Again, like off and on, kind of weird, but overall better. So hopefully yesterday was the worst of like the bad times for right now. I'm hoping I'm on the mend. Is that what they say, on the mend?
On the mend.
I'm hoping everything goes the right way now. So today was a good day. And like I said before, like, these are the days that like you have to like be grateful for. And just because when you're not feeling good, I tell Greg this all the time. Like when you have so many bad days in a row, it's like, this isn't ever gonna go away, and this is just how it is now. But I know that's not true. And then like days like today, it's like, I'll be okay again. But I didn't vlog much, so I just wanted to pop in for a little update. And the cake will be shown when the cake happens. But the next thing that I want to show in this vlog, it's just going to be a very random vlog. And long, because I'm yapping a lot. This is cut. We're going to cut some stuff I just said, and the next time you see me or us will be to go and hopefully get a cake. I know the last thing I showed was us at Vegan Treats. I keep calling it Vegan Essentials. That's a website. Used to be great. I don't know about now. But Vegan Treats. But before we went there, we went to Wegmans, which is where we go for like usually funner food. So I just want to show really quick what I got, and then I'll end with the cakes, and I'll just do a highlight reel because I got to clean the counter off before I show any of that. But I'll talk about this food. But I found these, which I didn't even know these existed, and I got one for me, one for Greg to try, because We really like the Morningstar ones, and I didn't even know that this brand has the chicken and waffle sandwiches, which I'm pretty sure that the Morningstar ones came first. I don't know, don't quote me, but I'm very intrigued to see what we think of those. I got this, which I had gotten before, but I never talked about like how it tasted, I don't think, in a vlog, but I tried it on lasagna that I made and a few other things, and it was really good, so I just want to try it more, and maybe this time I will vlog about it when I do, but that stuff's really good. A few more somewhat interesting things that maybe you didn't see, and then two that are probably, well, they're exciting to me. Well, this one I saw, which is like, I think a Wegmans brand, like don't have a whatever, and this is don't have a cow, they have don't be a chicken, like don't be fishy, like all that stuff, but cheesesteak style burrito, that sounds good. I've never seen this before. Cleveland Kitchen, do you know this brand? Cleveland Kitchen?
No, I don't think so.
But fermented miso jalapeno dressing and marinade. It sounded really good. I mean, I love miso, I love jalapeno, so supports gut health. And then two things I got, which were, well, one was kind of weird. I don't think I've ever had this before, but it kind of reminded me of those Lunchables that I tried, the Gouda. I think one of those was Gouda, and it's round. I almost want to have a piece of this right now, but here, I'll give you this. But then this was kind of interesting, Mediterranean style cheese. It's just cheese, but it says grill me. Like just grill the cheese.
They don't just mean like a grilled cheese sandwich?
No, it's like blocks, like a hunk. So I don't know what that means. So
that's weird.
I can try that out. That was the Wegmans haul, which we went to this one. This one was it in Bethlehem?
Mm-hmm.
So this one was in Bethlehem. Usually we go to the one in Wilkes-Barre. I kind of like the layout of the Wilkes-Barre one, but this one had the Wilkes-Barre one has a little dining area, where at this one, the whole dining area was like upstairs. So you could just like watch people shop from above. So I said we'll have to do that one day. Mm-hmm. But that was that, and now I'm gonna take the cakes out and I'm just gonna show what they look like. We got a confetti cake. That was Mom's request. This is kind of, like I said, like a late Mother's Day type thing that I wanted to do. And Greg got a brownie. You got a
Tandy.
Peanut butter tandy, which you've seen them before, I think multiple times in videos, like the little thing with the peanut butter cup, like the anniversary trip, like the big cake that we had. I always remember you said a big bed with a big cake.
Why is it a big fat bed with a big fat cake?
And I said, with your big fat wife. And he's like, no. But I got one of those, and then I got a blueberry cannoli, which I've never even heard of that before. So I'm excited to try that. And then I waited, which was a little bit like, I don't like to do that because I always hope that somebody's there, that it gives me time to like look and see what I want. But as soon as we walk in, we're the only people, and she's like, what can I help you with? And I'm like,
she's always been busy every other time.
I know. I'm like, I'm still trying to figure it out. She's like, okay, but then she just stood there and watched me.
Yeah,
So
that was
I'm
awkward.
like,
I was just gonna walk away, and then she kept standing there.
So I got a peanut butter cheesecake. Actually, you know what? The counter's messy, so I'm just gonna show you now. I'm just gonna do it one by one. We're gonna do this on camera, so let's hope this doesn't get too messy. You ready?
What are you doing?
I'll show the cakes. Taking my purse off. It's getting real.
Do the brownie first, because I want to eat it.
Oh my gosh. So
like cookie dough.
What is this? Cookie dough brownie. Wait, I can touch it. Right?
Oh, it's like a cookie layer at the bottom too, maybe. Like it's like a brookie.
I can take a bite.
You can take a bite. Well, let me get a picture of it.
Wait, well, there's stuff everywhere though. Who are you sending it to? Oh yeah, I wanted to get a good picture. Well,
I don't.
Whatever.
You're
it's
killing
the vlog.
me right now. I want to eat my damn brownie. One for you. One for me.
Mmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 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 Oh, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
The brownies are always really good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Excuse that. I'm sorry you had to see that. This is right here, so I'll show you this. Check this out. Blueberry cannoli.
The outer part's blueberry, I guess, and the cream's normal.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see. Oh yeah, there you go. So, it doesn't really smell very blueberry, but that'll be good. I don't know if I want that now or later. Now, like I said, this whole trip was for Mom for, you know, Mother's Day. But of course, while you're there, you gotta get some stuff. This is Greg's favorite. Mom likes it too a lot, actually.
Her one.
Yeah. So this is the peanut butter candy. If you remember, like I said, we had a big one of those. That was like the first thing we got, right? One of the first things we tried from them.
We actually got the
Bench Fest, which is next week. Actually, possibly by the time you see this video, it could be at Bench Fest. Man, that guy put this together quick. I'd be a mess with these boxes. I'd be like, hold on, I'm sorry. Might want to cancel your plans for the afternoon. Yeah, if you're ever in the Bethlehem area, vegan treats, so good. Oh, okay. This is supposed to be a peanut butter cheesecake. I don't want you to see my face. Look at that. That's like marshmallow, I guess. I don't know, it looked the best, and I figured Greg would have some with me. So I wouldn't have to eat the whole thing. Oh my gosh. Force me, please. Oh, it smells sweet. Well, I'll leave that out because I'm gonna eat some of that in a minute. For the main event, which we're gonna have like a little, some type of cookout for Memorial Day. I don't know how that's gonna go, but we're gonna have some sort of thing. So this will be like for multiple people. And there will be leftovers. Also, if I have chocolate on my face, I'm not gonna see it till I edit it, so just ignore that as well. Oh, what? Wait, what? So it's supposed to be a confetti cake. I don't know what the top is though. I don't know, but it looks like this. On the side, there's confetti. What do you think this is, Greg?
Looks like cheesecake. It's got a little like graham crust.
The side. I mean, there's definitely confetti. It is confettied up. But yeah, so that's for tomorrow. I'm very curious what that top stuff is. It does look like cheesecake. We intended to do it for a while, and it took longer than I had hoped, but got it done. Got the goods. We snatched the goods. Or what did they say? Secured the goods? I keep saying snatched. We snatched the goods. I need to tape this so it doesn't go bad, but that is where I'm going to end the vlog. Because I wanted to show that the stuff, because I talked about the vegan cakes, and I like to like, yeah, it says 6-inch party confetti. But I like to, you know, show off the vegan goods when I can, so that's going to be it. Another vlog to come sometime. Do you want to say goodbye, Greg? You're always in the background.
Bye.
Bye.
Greg.